Lamb boy. And I guess I've been dreaming. Cause now that I'm woke, everything that I see ain't what it seems, man. I guess I've been dreaming. Cause now that I'm here, what I feel motivates me with reason. I guess I've been dreaming. Cause now that I'm woke, everything that I see ain't what it seems, man. I guess I've been dreaming. Cause now that I'm here, what I feel motivates me with reason. I guess I've been dreaming.
Oh, felt us up and stuck. We in here like, what? Peace and love to all the gods and goddesses and all the high vibrating species on the planet. How are we living today? Or what it is, what it do. Salute to you. Welcome back to the channels. Welcome back to the channels. Academics, man. What up, man? What's busting out there, man? What y'all doing, man? How y'all living? What it do? And we is back with another 001 SCP proposal. The Black Moon. I wonder if that has anything to do with the spaceship in the sky. Which would be the new moon or some. But we're going to find out. I was just trying to think about it for a second. Maybe the third gonna kick in while we get started. You know what I'm talking about? We got 33 of them things. 33 of them things. So with the 19. If you know, you know. And we know. We finna get this thing busting, y'all. So if you new, just grab your chair. You know what I'm talking about? Check out some other videos for the disclaimer. I don't think I need to, you know what I'm saying, keep dropping it every time. Now, if I have to, I will. You feel me? Now, if YouTube requests for me to have to drop the disclaimer every single times, then I drops the disclaimer. But all you need to know for the most part is we do not condone nothing on the video. We just ask that you do your own due diligence. We call it dibs over here. That's discernment, intuition, and due diligence. I know I said dibs, but when you use your mind, critical thinking here, you will see that you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. But yeah, get you some dibs in your system. But in the meantime, in between time, academics, I hope you got what you need because I do. And if you're new, I hope you got what you need because I do and we do. And you know what I'm talking about? Like, share, and subscribe. FDN. Notification bell, if you would please. It definitely helps the team with the algorithm. We'd love to be a part of it. And to drop our perspectives, and share them with the rest of the people about these SCPs and what we've discovered so far. Some people are new, some people are old, but we about to do this right here. Bustin', that's the code.
SCP-001. The Black Moon.
Those who were wolves.
Universe-ending threats are a dime a dozen in the SCP universe. And while that may be true, what's more interesting than the threats themselves is how exactly the Foundation deals with each of them.
How's that?
The Black Moon is another 001 proposal, but rather than one that deals with how the Foundation got started, it's instead one that supersedes all of the other SCPs in regards to its danger. This will definitely be a proposal that borders on a comic book towards the end.
Pause 1 second. If it's outdoing all, then it's safe to say that this thing is damn near universal cosmic ending status. Right? Because we got what? World ending? That's probably about as worse it can get for a planet, right? The planet ends. But if you got something that's worse than world ending, then what you have? Galaxy ending? Like Galactus, maybe? Which is a thing, you know. Very well is a thing. Celestials. Very big.
Which may or may not be everyone's cup of tea, but you can't say it's not unique. The article starts by asking, does the Black Moon howl? A somewhat common question asked across numerous documents with varying answers. The answer here is only a simple no. SCP-001 is an entropic entity of significant power and influence, believed to exist somewhere outside of our conventional reality, referred to in pre-Foundation records as the Black Moon, or as the Pale Emperor, the Pit, and Finale.
For all my biblical peoples out there, all my Christians out there, you know what I'm talking about? Did that sound familiar to you? Let's do it again. Let's do it again. I mean, we're just a couple seconds in, right? Let's do it again.
Pre-Foundation records as the Black Moon, or as the Pale Emperor, the Pit, and Finale.
The Pit, the Pale Emperor. Okay, so the only thing that took out the Emperor would be the horse, the Pale Horse. Which, I mean, it would be an emperor. It would be someone with the status to send such a force across the land to do the thing that the Pale Horse did. Then you have the Pit. Some call it Sheol, School, Tartarus, Hades, Hell, Purgatory maybe, Limbo even. I'm pretty sure you're getting the idea. Yeah. Not saying that that's what it is, but you know, we got some clues, we got something to go off of, y'all. So let's get it.
Records, confirmed by the administrator of the Foundation, describe this entity's influence upon our reality as sudden and random obliteration.
But I ain't never been to New York, but I swear I ain't trying to be there when that happened. Damn, how Liberty get up in the city like that? I thought she was like on some dock or some port or some sort. As a lighthouse or something. I thought that's what she was. How'd she get in the middle of the city like that? I mean, like I said, I've never been, so I don't, you know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure that she was out in the open by the waters. Obviously, she didn't got her ass carried in the inner city. Lean with it, rock with it. And she leaning with it too.
Iterations of conscious organisms.
What's all this stuff flying in the sky?
This consists of the organism being
like
spontaneously
spaceship.
transformed into a solid black substance before disappearing entirely 4 seconds later. The administrator states that this obliteration is very rarely done, only once every few decades, but this frequency will apparently increase exponentially over time. I'll note that this document was written in 1987. At the time, the Foundation had no idea whether the entity possessed any form of intelligence or was simply acting as an impartial force. Various historical sources suggest that the entity cannot act while being directly observed, but seeing as how it exists outside of reality, directly observing it is a little tricky. If the administrator is to be believed, the entity will eventually be responsible for wiping out all of humanity if left to its own devices. So of course, the Foundation initiated a project involving using various anomalies to try and contain and or neutralize the threat. This moves us on to the next file in the article, from 1991, which starts with, "Does the Black Moon howl?" And the answer, "Not without blood." This file concerns a human male, appearing to be in his late 30s, designated as SCP-001-Cage, generally referred to as the Administrator. The Administrator's actual age is unknown, but he's believed to be older than the majority of known human civilization, and has shown no signs of aging since entering Foundation containment.
That boy sound like the architect, don't it?
It seems that despite the Administrator being responsible for founding the Foundation, gathering the first O5 Council, and providing information on a number of ancient anomalies, he voluntarily entered containment in order to be allowed to continue researching 001. During his containment, the Foundation has performed a number of tests on him, finding him to be utterly invincible to harm, as all wounds will be reversed after a period of exactly 4 seconds. Tranquilizers have proved to be partially effective, though, as he'll remain unconscious for a short time after they leave his system. The Administrator has claimed that his immortality and invincibility are the result of him being designated as the Counterbalance, an entity charged with pursuing the Black Moon. This designation can apparently be transferred to another individual, but he's never done this to prove it. In an interview conducted between 05-3 and the Administrator...
You know, just for the record, I've watched countless of animes and movies where that exact thing can be done, where this person is destined to have this job that only he or she can do, and if they somewhat if it's to fail or whatever, then they can transfer the energy off to someone worthy to continue the journey. But in this case, Buddy don't die, so he don't really see a reason or a need to have to pass on the power. But my thing is why are you just living? It don't seem like you pursuing the Dark Moon, bro. You needs to get on your damn job. Because if the thing turns on and get to doing what it does, then you gonna be immortal without a planet. That means you gonna just be floating in space, froze up like a damn icicle until some spaceship come by and scoop you up. Hey, don't tell her who that gonna be. You liable to get unthawed without your drawers.
The Administrator proves to be a rather amiable individual and asks the O5 if he's new to the position. When the O5 responds that they've been there for 30 years now, the Administrator responds that they are new then, as time clearly means something a little different to him. When asked if he remembers when he was born, the Administrator says that it was before names, as you only need names when there's a risk of confusing people, and when he was born, there weren't enough people for that to be a concern. When asked how he obtained his anomalous properties, he says that they had a village on the edge of the sea, and he was the boy then. He was known as the boy because that's the closest thing they had to a name, because he was the only boy in the world. One day, someone new came to the village, the Hermit, who looked like he'd never eaten a day in his life, although he never died.
What the Wait. So they were, damn, what's the word? Damn it, the other day, this was main discussion the other day I was having with the team. We was talking about this very thing. If he's the only boy, then that means the women are reproducing on their own, which is the thing. Because if you do your research, they didn't need man at one point. You know what I'm saying? It can get like that if they just decide to think outside the universe. You know what I'm saying? Blink, gone. I'm talking that Thanos shit. I did not make the rules. It's the feminine energy. We're going back, and then, but besides that, we're going back to the matriarchy anyway. So guys, just it's theirs. After all, you feel me? It's why everything was. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even finna get in the spiel. You know what I'm talking about? Cause one day maybe. You know what I'm talking about? One day. You know. If need be, but you know what I'm saying, I just urge people to just do some research, you know what I'm saying, to just get familiar with certain things that used to be that's about to go back to being, and we should just get prepared for that, you know what I'm saying. And it's really nothing we can do about it. Look what the planet is doing. We can't stop the planet from going back into the dimension that she wants to go back into. She wants to rise back in frequency. How can we stop that? We can't. So you either rise with the planets, you feel me? So yeah.
He came to the center of their village, sat on a stone, and waited. And a few days later, the black moon howled. The youngest hunter of the village was walking to his cave.
Okay, so when the black moon howls, is that it shows its face? Is it shining? Does it shine at this point when it howls, when it shines? Or did I miss? Maybe I missed it. Did I miss that part? I don't know.
When he suddenly became a pitch-black statue and disappeared 4 seconds later.
Carbon.
The hermit then turned to the boy and asked what he had seen. The administrator told him, and then the hermit proceeded to tell him everything he had learned about the black moon over the course of his immortal life. It took him only 4 minutes to do so, as he simply didn't know much, despite having lived for 1,000 years. The counterbalance was...
See? That's what I'm saying. There's 1,000 years. Now that automatically sets you outside of time. That means whatever's going on with it. I mean, and they already said that like the moon was like in another dimension, kind of like sort of whatever. So that's why. But at the same time, if he's talking to a hermit right now, and this hermit has lived for 1,000 years on the planet, more than likely, and ain't seen nothing, then I mean, what's the telling? He told him in 4 minutes. But why is it always 4 minutes? It's 4 seconds, 4 minutes. But see, this number 4 is also significant. I heard. You know what I'm saying? Another YouTube channel. I mean, shoot that. Yeah, they shut bro down. You know what I'm saying? But salute to the chakra doctor. They shut bro down. But the four goes back to triangulates back to Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? Like he represents the 4 and a couple other little things. And when you get into numerology and astrology and all that, you'd be surprised at the stuff that you really, you know what I'm saying, the people that are really into, that they really have no clue what they into. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. It's mind-boggling, but all worth the reads and searches and discovery though. All worth it. Me personally, that's why I'm here now. You know what I'm saying? All my searches led me here. And I'm looking at this and I'm hearing all these little things that's being laid out like 1,000 years, and this is going on and this is going on, and you know what I'm saying? It's like all this stuff is tying into my research about the galactics and all this stuff that's, you know what I'm saying, the Anunnaki and all the research, you know what I mean? So I'm just kind of like, whoa. I'm just expecting at any time now.
Transferred to the boy, and the hermit turned to dust. The O5 already knew all this, but they periodically check the administrator's memory to make sure he remembers. Moving on to discussing the entity itself, the administrator says that things are proceeding slowly, although that's always been the case, but they have some exciting project proposals to work on.
Like what?
The administrator then calls out O5-3, suggesting that they think that the administrator is either lying about the whole thing, or he's delusional, or that he's telling the truth but fighting a pointless battle. The O5 tries to brush this off and say that they have the utmost respect for the administrator, but he doesn't drop the issue. He says that he knows what the O5 is thinking because he believes that people really aren't that different overall, with only about 100 or so archetypes varied in minor ways. He's been around long enough to know what type each person is, and asks O5-3 not to lie to him. The O5 finally says that they do have doubts about the situation, but they also have respect for the administrator. Ultimately, they do think that it's a pointless battle, trying to observe something that can't be observed. The administrator counters by mentioning the book Moby Dick, which he really identifies with. The O5 says that it was their impression that the book is about how Captain Ahab's pursuit of revenge against nature was doomed to fail from the start. The administrator says that was not his impression. His impression was that Ahab just didn't try hard enough. The third file starts with the question, does the black moon howl?
That's the
and the
perspective
answer,
for the ace right
only
there.
at the blind. This file describes the project that the Foundation initiated to try and contain or neutralize 001, headed up by a Dr. Moto. The project resulted in a
Only at the blind. Man, Academates, I can't even lie to you, boy. That's deep. Like, if you just sit back and just think about that for a second. Like, man, does the moon howl only at the blind? Man, that's deep. That's on another wavelength. You know what I'm talking about? That's the only way the only way you're gonna perceive that. That's just so deep. Even though they probably didn't mean it like that, but I'm just
a collection of inanimate objects artificially linked to SCP-001 using conceptual engineering, designated as SCP-001-Key. Each of the objects that make up 001 Key are different, but they all share a few traits. None of them can act while under observation. They all possess a hostility towards conscious life, and they each possess the capacity to end conscious life if given the opportunity. All traits they share with SCP-001 itself. Their hope was that by purposefully creating these anomalies that share those traits with SCP-001, they would conceptually link them to the entity, and thus, by containing them, they could contain the Black Moon. As for the objects themselves, the third one they created took the form of a humanoid statue, which appeared behind the nearest individual in a threatening posture when unobserved. This was judged a partial success, although it was unclear whether its behavior was due to actual hostility or just playfulness. The seventh one they made also was a humanoid statue, but when unobserved, it attempted to snap the neck of the nearest individual. Dr. Moto noted this as a big success, as it demonstrated all three of the necessary traits while still being easily manageable in containment. Obviously, this is SCP-173, which I'll note that Out of Universe was written by an individual going by Moto42. The 12th object they made took the form of a spherical sculpture floating in the air, which proceeded to violently explode immediately after becoming unobserved, killing a number of personnel. Obviously, self-termination doesn't work for the Foundation's purposes, but it didn't really deter Dr. Moto. The 13th one took the form of a sculpture with a human head 3 meters in height and 2 meters in width. When it became unobserved, it rammed through the nearest wall at extremely high speeds and was finally recontained as it attempted to flee across the desert.
Y'all need to call
it
him
did
Juggernaut.
result in the deaths of 19 personnel, but Dr. Moto isn't sure if it was intentional hostility or just collateral damage, so this one was terminated. The 14th one they made took the form of a complex of intersecting stalagmites and stalactites, with a series of coral-like growths erupting from the central mass.
What'd this one do?
When unobserved for only 0.2 seconds, no activity seemed to be detected, although it was later discovered that during that very brief period, 142 civilians staying at a hotel in a nearby city were killed via spontaneous human combustion.
What?
That's certainly not
Liddy in the city!
Quite a time covering that up. Dr. Moto...
Did that boy say point one? Did he say 0.2 seconds? .2 seconds, 140 odd people. Spontaneous combustion. And speaking of spontaneous okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's man. Bruh, that's gotta Boy, that's horrible. No, you weren't prepared for that. Did not see that coming. Never would have expected it for in a million years on any planet dimension format. And never would have perceived that. Just out of nowhere. Now, if y'all ain't careful, I must say, if you're not careful, that very thing is on the way. Don't say I didn't
halted
tell you.
all creation of new key instances, with the hope that if they keep the ones they've made under constant observation, it'll be enough to stop the Black Moon. Unfortunately, that's not the end of the story, as it didn't take long before the Black Moon struck again, in 1993, this time with the first recorded double obliteration event. 2 tourists in Rome were spontaneously erased, and it was later confirmed that, at the time, all of the key instances were being actively observed, proving that the costly project did absolutely nothing. Several hours after the news came in, Dr. Moto left a note in his office.
See, then it's using this term like key. That's another thing I got to highlight, Academates. And I do apologize for all the pausing. Like I said, you know what I mean? When I actually run across a video that actually shows me and starts highlighting certain things that's damn near word for word, verbatim, or suffixes or breakdowns like this term key, for instance. If you didn't know, that's one of the names of this planet is Key, and that's short for Anunnaki. And it's ironic that they got 3 machines that they call Key, and this is the type of stuff that they do, along with the moon. About the same thing that Nibiru would do, which is what the Anunnaki. And all this talk is coming up now. And that moon, but I already said something, so I think we're dealing with I think we're dealing with the spaceship moon that's up here. Because I've heard stories that that moon really isn't in this atmosphere. It's actually a hologram from another. It's being not a hologram, or maybe it could be a hologram. I was thinking more in the lines of like projection, but yeah, hologram. You know what I'm saying? That's more high tech, more up to, you know what I'm saying, up to speed to what people would be thinking about. So yes, definitely a hologram. Like, if you went up there and tried to land on it from here, you probably wouldn't land on it because it's not actually here. It's just being, you know what I'm saying, reflected. So you could, or whatever. So that's why when it goes black, like you really can't see it, so you're looking at nothing. But in this case, it's always black. So my question would be this: are you looking at the dark side of the moon every day? Because we don't see it from our angle. So that means from where you are, you must be looking at the dark side of the moon, which would make sense. You wouldn't be able to see it.
Office, reading, "We've been looking at nothing. I'm sorry, Administrator. I've failed you, sir." Dr. Moto.
So this would be like what? Phaser weapons, lasers? The frequency that you can't see, but it comes down and before you know it,
was found in the containment of one of the key instances, dead due to a broken neck. Following the doctor's death, the entire project was discontinued, and the key instances were merely kept in containment. The resources involved in the project were reallocated to another proposed project for dealing with the Black Moon, which is detailed in the next file. This file answers "Does the Black Moon howl?" with "Not while the stars shine." The surprising thing here is that this file was last updated in the year 3764, so we're dealing with things well into the future now, where apparently the Black Moon is still a threat. The project that the Foundation ended up moving on to involved a biomechanical spacefaring vessel, designated as 001 Seek, designed to traverse space in search of extraterrestrial civilizations with useful information regarding the Black Moon. The ship is 1,000 meters long, 300 meters wide, and 600 meters in height, with numerous thrusters, cilia, and flagella present to aid its movement in space.
That mother...
Of course, the ship is pretty anomalous, even by future standards, equipped with an organic learning computer capable of handling a significantly greater amount of information than any human or transhuman.
Yeah, meaning that ship has about a couple different hunted species on it, from different planets probably, with different climate controls and all that different stuff for each and every, you know what I'm talking about, species. Man, that motherfucker big, boy. Damn. Jeez. I'm talking huge youngers. Come through like that, boy, looking like, whoa. So big the whole ship can't even fit in the atmosphere. What? Stupid large. I done seen it.
It's equipped with a universal translator reverse engineered from an SCP that allows it to assimilate languages within nanoseconds, and a transcription unit conceptually linked to a unit on Earth, allowing for instantaneous communications. The ship has 300 biological drones aboard, each capable of flight, which are all directly controlled by the computer via telepathy, and 3,000 cryogenic units capable of preserving biological samples. Since it was a big concern that the ship not be an actual target for the Black Moon, which only targets conscious life, they went to great strides to make it not actually conscious while still being highly intelligent. We're given a few logs of some notable planets that the ship encountered, starting with one in the year 3156. This planet was theoretically capable of supporting human life, although blizzards cover the planet. There were signs of civilization on one continent, but no conscious life was observed, with only abandoned villages and cities being discovered. There were also signs of attempted evacuation from the planet, with numerous space-worthy vessels being found, but it's believed that all inhabitants of the planet were obliterated at least 1,000 years prior.
Not sure. Not quite sure, but I heard of a story of a certain planet called I forgot what the name of it was, but it was supposedly supposed to be an ice planet, and it had ice giants on it. Yeah, what they said, planet Nern. That's what I heard. Yeah, he told me Nern. Yeah, he said Nern. That what bro said. Folk now said Nern. You know what I'm talking about? Planet Nern. Where a certain somebody was made. And that's where they was. And there was a little spill out on that planet. And they hijacked some ships and got kicked off. Well, I ain't gonna necessarily say hijack some ships. They you know what I'm saying, they had a little spill out and they kind of got a little spankings and they got kicked off the planet because they were too rowdy. So they went somewhere else and they got jammed up where in the next planet they went to, in the next solar system they went to, they got jammed up there. The people that left that particular place. But I'm not saying that this is the place. But if they just went to this place and it's a planet and it's blizzard icy over and there's obviously there were signs of life there, but nobody's there now. It's a vacant planet. But I'm not gonna chalk it up and be like, yeah, that's it. No, I'm not gonna do that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna continue to do some research.
The drones did find numerous artistic depictions of the indigenous species being obliterated by the Black Moon, and a site of a mass suicide, although they recovered information indicating numerous contradicting theories about the obliteration events, meaning that the inhabitants here had no idea what was happening to them. Another planet was observed in 3499, and even though volcanic activity had left it incapable of supporting human life, there were signs of civilization inside of deep craters at small temperate zones at both poles. Their civilization seemed to consist of large, black, cylindrical buildings, each thousands of meters tall, capable of housing millions of organisms. They found statues of quadrupedal entities with hooked claws, believed to be the indigenous species, and words written on walls indicating a general feeling of acceptance of their inevitable fate. Some of the words indicate that inhabitants were instructed to remain in their homes and await the coming of the Howl. The drones did find some life, though, in the form of creatures resembling armored bats. These creatures were apparently not conscious, however, instead operating solely on instinct, which is why the Black Moon didn't wipe them out.
This don't sound like the place I read about.
A third planet was found in 3764, with this one entirely covered in megacities. Large artificial farms and nature reserves were present on the roofs of large buildings, and the weather of the planet had been stabilized artificially, aside from regular rain for the farms and reserves. Evidence suggests that the planet was previously home to a highly advanced civilization, but the only life currently remaining consists of non-conscious fauna and flora.
Shit, that may be even
numerous bunkers are present beneath the surface, presumably to try and protect individuals from the Black Moon, but most of them were empty. Data shows that the indigenous species were a vaguely humanoid form of fungi, capable of linking together telepathically. There seemed to have been something akin to a Foundation equivalent on the planet, with numerous abandoned projects designed to try and observe SCP-001. They finally hit pay dirt, though, with one working cryogenic unit being found holding a surviving conscious organism. The unit was immediately recovered, and on direct order of the administrator, the ship began making its journey back towards Earth. The fifth document concerns this recovered individual, designated as 001-Sage. The file answers, "Does the Black Moon howl?" with "only when waning." Sage is a vaguely humanoid entity formed from various alien forms of fungus, acting in apparent symbiosis. It is sapient, able to communicate with both each of its parts, as well as humans, via telepathy. It identifies the planet it has come from as being the Single Star, where it claims to have served as a scholar of great renown. Its primary subject of research was the entity known as the Black Moon. The Single Star government failed to come up with a way to stop the Black Moon, so Sage put itself into cryogenic sleep in the hopes that it would be unaffected. Even though it seems like it did work, people of Earth had already tried cryogenic sleep under the same theory, and found that it didn't offer any protection, meaning that Sage was just lucky. Since the population of the Single Star would use telepathy to communicate with one another and easily share knowledge, Sage has found it difficult to assimilate new ideas on Earth, as he's the only one left of his kind. In an interview with the administrator, Sage immediately refers to him as the counterbalance, and the administrator asks if it knows of a way to stop the Black Moon. Sage says yes, but only because it's reading the administrator's mind, and the administrator has already found a way to stop the entity, something referred to as the SCB. When asked what it is, the administrator says that it's victory, but it will take a very, very long time, and he doesn't know if he can carry it out, as he's very tired. He says that there are people who have loved him, and he's left them all behind to end up here, and he doesn't know how much more he can leave behind. Sage suggests that he give the counterbalance to another, and as for how he knows about the counterbalance, there was apparently one such individual on his world, who set sail off to another world. There has been a great chain of counterbalance individuals across the universe, as they continued to pass it on when they became too tired to continue, ending up with the Administrator. The Administrator knows how to beat the Black Moon, and he could just pass on the counterbalance to someone else and tell them what to do, but he doesn't trust anyone else with the responsibility. He also says that the Black Moon will still kill him, it'll just kill him last. Sage asks him how much time it will take, to which the Administrator responds that it'll take long enough for him to see the stars disappear for good. Sage then asks what good will victory do then, but the Administrator just gets up to leave the interview, so Sage yells after him, asking again. The Administrator simply turns and looks back, allowing Sage to read the answer from his mind. Sage then simply says, "How blasphemous of you. Hopefully it works." Immediately following the interview, the Administrator proceeded into the SCB, the Singular Conceptual Bunker, leaving instructions behind for the Foundation to be run by a newly formed O5 Council in his absence, something that they haven't had for hundreds of years. One day, sometime after that, Sage suddenly flared with a blue light and said, "Hopefully, hopefully," before being obliterated by the Black Moon. When the Administrator was told about this while inside of the conceptual bunker, he said that he would be providing no further guidance, and that the SCB should be loaded onto the experimental memorial module at the first available opportunity. The next file opens with, "Does the Black Moon howl?" and the answer, "Yes." It describes an installation located in orbit around Remus 9224, believed to be the last remaining star, designated as 001 Tome. Tome is designed to serve as a memorial following the extinction of conscious life by intercepting the final transmissions of civilizations prior to their obliteration. The installation is spherical, 50 meters in diameter, concealed from detection using a number of cloaking systems, and it's powered by an engine capable of harvesting ambient hypothetical energy. It's operated by a non-conscious artificial intelligence, which filters out the majority of junk signals received and only records the meaningful ones. The Tome project was originally conceived of sometime prior to the year 7329, but was abandoned before the simultaneous obliteration of 219 human colonies.
Damn.
At that point, it was determined that the continued existence of conscious life was not possible, so the Tome project was revived. As of the document's writing, it's been in operation for a buffer overflow number of years, which basically means a long, long time. The document is listed as being last updated after names, harking back to the Administrator's claim of being born before names. We're given a partial list of transmissions recorded in the memorial. The first is from a human colony begging for assistance, as they're losing people every day and there's barely anyone left. The second was from an anti-human religious site, spouting religious quotes and asking for forgiveness. The third is another human colony, in which they say that it's so dark outside now, and it's blotting out the sun. The fourth is from an android commune, in which they state that a situation is developing, and they require additional resources. The fifth is from a location labeled as Ocean Hate in Thought Space. This transmission reads, "My fault, your fault, our fault. My fault, your fault, our fault. My fault, your fault, our fault.
That part,
Rip out my brain now. Rip out my brain now. The sixth one is from Earth, with the voice of a young child asking, hello. And finally, the last one is from the solitary conceptual bunker, located inside of Tome, reading, it's ready. Wish me luck. This leads to the final document, written more like a script than an SCP document. It describes the solitary conceptual bunker as resembling a bar, with bottles of liquor lined up on shelves, ashtrays arranged on the bar top, and stools pulled up for patrons. The walls are made with fine, intricate brickwork, and the floors made from the smoothest, most pristine wood. There's a man standing behind the bar, scrubbing it down with a grim smile on his face. The administrator. The door to the bar opens, and the Black Moon walks in, as the administrator tells him that he certainly took his time before asking if he wants a drink. The Black Moon is confused, described as a shadow with delusions of form, like smoke trapped in a fist,
like Noob Sabat, and
asks the administrator what this is. The administrator simply spreads his arms and responds
like
that it's
Ajin.
A bar.
Like this anime like Ajin. Like it's an anime called, I think it's called Ajin, like this little shadowy thing that comes out of these guys, these little boys or whatnot. I think, you know what I'm saying, kind of puts me in the mind of that too.
Black Moon steps forward, somehow drifting and stomping at the same time, and lets out a growl before asking, why is he speaking, as it's not his way? The administrator nods and comes out from behind the bar, stating that this whole place is the singular conceptual bunker, and that everything inside of it is just information. The Black Moon says that it's meaningless, and takes a step forward, causing the administrator to take a step backwards out of an innate fear. He responds that this was actually really clever of him, and that everything in here is here because he provided the information for it, from the bottles, to the jukebox, to even the space he's occupying.
Right.
He could have left no room for the Black Moon to enter this bunker, making it completely sealed, but then the Black Moon would have just smashed it to pieces.
True.
Instead, he left a human-shaped hole for it to occupy. This causes the Black Moon to stop and pause, uncertain of what exactly that implies. Hesitation and uncertainty were both new experiences to it, and it asks what the administrator has done. This causes the administrator to grin, as he's been waiting for this moment for so very long. He says that he's provided for it a path of least resistance, which the Black Moon took, causing it to be brought down to the administrator's level. This causes the Black Moon to begin barking, roaring, and hissing all at once, furious, and it tells the administrator that it doesn't matter because he'll die all the same. The administrator sighs and says that he's been waiting billions of years for this, and now the Black Moon is just acting like a cartoon villain. Although he admits that he's not surprised, as it's like an ocean being squeezed into a plastic bottle. The Black Moon continues to approach him in anger, and even though the administrator says that they finally have a chance to talk to one another after all this time, the Black Moon leaps over the bar and roars that it's all meaningless. The administrator goes to his plan B then, utilizing a movement he's been practicing daily for billions of years, as he grabs a shotgun beneath the bar and fires both barrels into the Black Moon's chest. It staggers backwards but doesn't fall, only becoming more angry. This surprises the administrator, and the Black Moon tackles him to the floor, beginning to choke him with its semi-solid hands. The administrator eventually reaches up and manages to slam the Black Moon's head into the side of the bar, causing them both to collapse. Eventually he rises to his feet, due to being more accustomed to a physical form, and he stomps down on the Black Moon's knee, causing it to howl before pulling the administrator back down. As he falls, he grabs an ashtray from the bar, but the Black Moon is back on top of him, clawing at his face while shouting that it's meaningless and he should just die. The administrator manages to use the ashtray to bash the Black Moon's head numerous times before its body goes limp. The administrator lays next to the Black Moon's body, thinking about resting, but knowing that there's one last thing he needs to do. He slowly climbs to his feet, using the bar for support, blood pouring down his face, and he staggers over to the jukebox. He pulls out a coin from his pocket and smiles before saying that this place is only information, and there's nothing else out there in the universe. This place can go from information back to matter with just the press of a button. And as the song on the jukebox ends, he puts the coin in and closes his eyes. He then says, "Let's see what happens when we introduce something to nothing," before pressing the button. The document ends with the administrator laughing and saying, "Let there be light." So, the destroyer of all life in the universe met its end in a conceptual bar at the end of time by being bashed over the head with an ashtray. The administrator had waited billions of years inside of a conceptual bunker, waited for all life to be obliterated, and the heat death of the universe to wipe out all matter, leaving only himself and the Black Moon. The Black Moon waltzed in, believing that it just had one last task to accomplish, but instead he fell into the administrator's trap and was given a physical form. After finally slaying the Black Moon after so long, he then managed to initiate another Big Bang, bringing matter back into existence and allowing life to eventually return. I did say it was going to be rather comic booky in the end, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. As we continue diving through the myriad of works across the SCP universe, we'll come across some wilder and wilder stuff. As usual, whether or not this is canon is up to you, but it does seem as if the Black Moon finally did howl.
Yeah, got that A stepped on, boy. He got that A stepped on, bro. On everything. Okay, the mates, man. Hey, check it out, yo. If you made it thus far, I appreciate you. You know what I'm talking about? I hope you enjoyed the video, because I enjoyed the video. That fight in the end, man, boy, they was getting it in, friend. They was really getting it in, my friend. I mean, I'm talking about, that's why I zoned out. I looked down. I zoned out. I went here, I went there, and shit, I was in the bar with him, boy. Blue, going down. You feel me? Just that quick. I'm picturing it while it's happening. You know what I'm saying? Getting the whole full, dang, buddy, you bloody. Get up. Stomp him. Oh, the knee. You feel me? I'm sorry. But yeah, yo, you know what I'm talking about? Buddy didn't go out like no chump. And you know what I mean? For him being alive for as long as he was. I can't even say that I'm surprised that at least gotta have one plan, right? At least one, right? I'm just saying, low. You know what I'm saying? Just, you feel me? Like, if I'm alive for 1,000,000 years because of this thing, and I gotta figure out how to beat it, or it kills me, I kill it, or me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm alive for 1,000,000 years. I'm coming up with something. Bruh, you got to. Like, cause when they come in and go to do and dumping and making it rain on people, then bruh, that's the time to strike. You have to find the window. You got to find a window. Cause it's coming through on the physical, so at that point, you know what I'm saying, some barrier and some line and some parallels is being crossed here. You gonna have to find that window and slide on up in there. You know what I'm saying? Instant transmission on there and get on up in there, boy. and handle that. But that was a good one, though. You brought him down to your side. Brought him down to your side. I feel you. You couldn't get up there to get him, so you brought him down to you. That's genius. That's genius. It's ballsy. Very ballsy, seeing that this thing is what it is and it can do what it is that it does, because, you know what I'm saying, the calculation that it was going to shrink down to come in versus just looking at the door like, oh, you think you slick. Bloom. So, yeah, it's definitely a risk. I wouldn't recommend you do it every time. And I wouldn't recommend anybody try some like that when you're dealing with something of that capacity or anything. It don't even have to be of that capacity. Let's just say that capacity, but let's bring it down here. Let's exaggerate it. But still, on a very dangerous, panicky level. You feel me? But anywho's, y'all don't forget to keep yourself, you know what I'm saying, spiritually, mentally, physically, mentally and emotionally protected, and keep that head on that swivel. Yeah, that's supposed to come first, but yeah, I ain't missed it. You know what I'm saying? Keep your head on that swivel, man. You know what I'm saying? Watch out for yeah, it's several things up there. If you slow down for a second and just look up, take your time, marvel, gaze, take in a little night air ish, and you'll see. I see them all the time, almost every night if I'm out there. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, do some due diligence. You know what I'm talking about? Don't forget that discernment and that intuition. You feel me? Don't forget to keep your oil. For those who don't know, you know what I'm talking about? That operates in love. That is the green light, the cosmic light, the green light. Green the better. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? We want to stay in the heart chakra. We want to stay in love and spread the love, man. And spread the real peace. Real peace. You know what I'm saying? Not this. That separation. Oneness, peace. You know what I mean? So that's what we want, right? I mean, right? Do you, right? So we all need to get the same mindset as we want the same thing. Regardless of all the other differences. At the end of the day, so long as our goal at the end is we all see the green. You know what I mean? It's the rest of that, we'll give it to the babies, okay? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, of course, we're going to come back with more SCPs. I don't know if we're going to go back to the Vogan or if we're going to stay over here in the Exploring series, but I think we may just stay with the Exploring series, and I'm going to go back over on this list and see what else they got up on that junk that I ain't looked at yet, and we're going to check her out together, of course. But yeah, until then, peace and love to all the gods and goddesses and all the high vibrating species on the planet. Until next time, peace.